The Rams are now 2-2 after beating Houston on the road, and the Saints are 4-0 after a dramatic win over the 49ers at the Superdome on this field goal by Morton Anderson.
Here's the snap. Ball down. Kick is in the air. It's good! If you're looking for deja vu, whoa, there it is!
One of the most dramatic regular season wins in Saint history, along with Hank Stram. I'm Dick Stockton. The question for the Saints, how do they avoid the letdown coming into this game, Hank?
The only way you can do that, really, Dick, is to forget. You can't win if you can't forget. You got to forget the other 4 games, and especially the last game, and pull the shade down and go from there, and that's exactly what they do very, very well. Mora does that terrifically well with that football team.
And Jim Mora said he detected no letdown in practice this week. They had a good week indeed. Meanwhile, what do you think are the keys coming into this game?
Well, number one, I think for the Saints, I think they definitely have to take Everett out of the game. They can't let him win the game with a forward pass. They have to delegate that responsibility to the running game, and I don't think anybody can beat the Saints running the football, and that's what they have to do.
All right, Hank, and a beautiful day here in Southern California. The Rams have won the toss, and they will receive. And the Saints, if you wonder how they're doing on the road, they have won their last 6 games against the Rams here at Anaheim Stadium and have won the last 6 meetings between the clubs overall. The last time that the Rams beat the Saints was at the Superdome in November of 1989. So Chuck Knox hopes to turn this thing around. It's been a Jekyll and Hyde club for the Rams so far, losing to Green Bay, an impressive win over the Steelers, then a tough loss to the Giants, and the win in Houston 28-13 last week. And for Jim Mora, a 4-0 year so far, and it's the second time in the club's history that they have begun winning their first 4 games. 3 seasons ago, or 2 years ago, they won their first 7 games of the year. So we're set to go, and Morton Anderson will be kicking off for the Saints. And back deep for the Rams will be Russell White and Steve Israel.
And usually there's about a 6-yard difference kicking outside compared to inside. Let's see how he kicks this.
You can see of his 22 kickoffs, 13 have been for touchbacks thus far for Morton Anderson. And we're set to go. Sit back and enjoy this NFC West battle. It'll be White about a yard in the end zone, returning for the Rams. And a little second effort gets him just shy of the 20-yard line as the Rams go on offense. Jim Everett, who answered the critics with a tremendous performance last week, 3 touchdown passes against the Oilers, will lead the offensive unit for the Rams, who have been inconsistent at best. And the offensive front, Irv Eatman, Tom Newberry, Vern Brostek, Leo Goaz, 18-year veteran Jackie Slater at right tackle. Travis McNeil is the tight end. Cleveland Gary starts at running back with Tim Lester, although we'll see a lot of Jerome Bettis today, and Willie Anderson and Henry Ellard, the wide receivers. First down on the 16. That's the tight end McNeil in motion. And the give is to Cleveland Gary, and he picks it up a couple of yards to the 20. Looking at a tremendous Saints defensive unit. First, the 3-man base front defensive line. Wayne Martin, Les Miller, who's still in there for Jim Wilkes, and Frank Warren, the veteran at right defensive end. The linebackers of Ricky Jackson, James Williams, Vaughn Johnson, and Ronaldo Turnbull. And the secondary, Vince Buck, Toy Cook. The corners, Keith Taylor and Gene Atkins, the safeties. The Saints have 19 quarterback sacks to lead the NFL coming in. Second down and 7 on the 19. And Cleveland Gary gets a hole up the middle. Penalty marker is down, and Gary gets to the 25. Close to the first down. That was James Williams on the tackle, but there's a flag.
I think we're going to see a lot of running straight ahead on the part of the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think you can run well sideways against the Saints because they react so quickly to what they see. If they're going to run well, they got to run straight ahead.
And of course, running is what Chuck Knox has always liked to do in his past years. There's Red Cashin, who's our referee today, who will explain the penalty, and it appears to be against the Saints. Veteran Red Cashin. You've got to love his calls when he says first down.
Yeah, he likes that, doesn't he?
They're going to measure first. because they'll decline the penalty if the Rams have the first down, and they appear to be short.
Yeah, it looks like they're just a little bit, about a half a ball short.
Offsides, number 57 on the defense, 5 yards, still second down.
It's on Ricky Jackson, outside backer.
Watch Ricky Jackson on the top of your screen. So he's trying to anticipate the count, and he jumps prematurely. Look at the shot he gives Jackie Slater, knocks him right out of his stance.
That's going to be a battle we'll be watching today. Slater against Jackson, as well as Irv Eatman, the left tackle, and Ronaldo Turnbull. It'll be interesting to see how the Saints react on grass outdoors without the sound of the dome indoors.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be any problem running on grass because they practice on grass every day. So that's not going to be a problem. And the noise doesn't seem to be I don't think that's going to be a problem either with this crowd.
Heck, they were short by 21,485 fans into lifting the blackout. Good crowd on hand, but nowhere near capacity. Now the Rams are going to huddle up again.
I think one thing that the Rams are concerned about, they want to make sure they don't wind up with 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. They would like to get 4 or 5 on first down. Then they can go to the play action passes and control the ball with a passing game, which is what they like to do.
2nd down and 2 now at the 24. And again, they keep it on the ground. Cleveland Gary close to the first down yardage, and he may have it. Gary's an unhappy camper. The Rams did not offer him a contract extension. He's been hampered with a hamstring problem, so he talked this week about perhaps not being with the Rams next year. He's a free agent. And a first down for L.A.
Yeah, you know, for some reason, he's never really gotten the credit that he deserves. I think he's a much better back than people give him credit for being. And he's a good, tough, hard-nosed guy, and I think he had a reputation earlier of being a fumbler, but he hasn't fumbled at all this year compared to what it's been like in the past.
So a first down on the 27 and 2 tight ends as Troy Drayton joins Travis McNeil. And again, Cleveland Gary gets tripped up at the line of scrimmage, but he maintains his balance and brings it out for a gain of 3 to the 30-yard line. Once again, Ricky Jackson putting on terrific pressure as he continues to penetrate the Rams' backfield.
And they want to change the calls with the anticipation of trying to anticipate really what the Saints are trying to do defensively. You know, they want to keep them off balance as much as they possibly can with the run, the play action, and also the pocket passes.
An important baseball day as well in the National League West. The Atlanta Braves have beaten the Colorado Rockies 5-3, so now the onus is on the Giants in their game against the Dodgers. 2nd down and 7, and Everett back to throw. He has time, and he completes the pass to Gary out of the backfield. It'll be good for another Rams first down. Vaughn Johnson and James Williams, the inside linebackers, make the tackle in a gain of 9 yards, so Everett gets off on the right foot here at home.
And the key to this thing is the pass protection. Everett is able to step up into the pocket. Now watch the pass protection. It's the I formation. It's a play action fake. Plenty of time. He steps up into the pocket. And look at the way he throws. His feet are parallel that time, but he's got such a great arm that when he sees somebody open, he's going to dunk it out there to him.
Straight back drop on first down on the 39, and the pass is incomplete to a wide open Henry Ellard. Ellard was open just beyond midfield, and the pass is incomplete.
That's the kind of stuff he throws best. Really, the sideline, the outside moves, the inside move. That time, the ball went into the turf because he held the ball too long. Had he kept it just a fraction longer, it'd have been a good completed pass.
Chuck Knox has stood behind Jim Everett, who answered his critics, as we said, and of course, you know quarterbacks, you've coached many of them, and any guy that makes the NFL has to be tough enough.
And it's tough when you stand behind a 6'5" quarterback. You can't see anything.
2nd and 10 on the 39, and the give is to Jerome Bettis, who's come into the ball game. It'll be 3rd down and long for the Rams. Reginald Jones came in as an extra back, and this is what the Saints love to see. They like to tee off here on 3rd and long.
Yeah, they're all smiles. All you see is teeth on the other side of the offensive line.
19 quarterback sacks for the Saints, and the Rams are right behind them with 17 on the year. It'll be 3rd down and 8 coming up from the 41-yard line. So let's see the Saints defense. 3 wide receivers and now 4 wideouts go for Jim Everett. 6 defensive backs for The Saints in their dime defense. Pressure on Everett, and the pass is overthrown. It was intended for Henry Ellard, although he was well covered by Vince Buck. And it'll be 4th down, and the Rams will be kicking.
That was just a bad pass. He doesn't throw many balls like that when he's got a chance to throw the ball, but he threw that one very poorly.
So Paul McJulian goes back to kick, and Tyrone Hughes will kick. And so Chuck Knox's Rams come up empty in their first foray on offense. McJulian replaced Don Bracken as the kicker. There's Hughes, who's 3rd in the NFC in punt returns, ready to bring one back. That's a good high kick by McJulian, and that will send Hughes inside his 15-yard line. He gets a good return up to the 30-yard line and finally tackled at the 37. Tyrone Hughes, who has averaged 11 yards a kick, returned that 23 yards to tie his season's high. Steve Israel makes the tackle. Well, coming up on Tuesday night, first pitch is 8:12. The American League Championship Series gets underway with Game 1. The Toronto Blue Jays face the Chicago White Sox from Comiskey Park. The battles of October begin on CBS Sports. First down for the Saints on their 37-yard line. Wade Wilson to throw on first down, and the pass is caught by Hobie Brenner. His big tight end. He's got a first down close to midfield, and Chris Martin and Shane Conlon in on the play. Wade Wilson last week had 170 yards and has a terrific offensive front of Cooper, Port, Hilgenberg, Kennard. Number 1 draft pick William Rofe, who's been outstanding. The tight end Hobie Brenner, who caught the first pass. Derek Brown, who is 3rd in the NFC in rushing with Brad Muster. Eric Martin and Quinn Early are the wide receivers. And the Saints have a first down just shy of midfield. It'll be another pass for Wade Wilson. He can't find the receiver and will run and will go out of bounds into Ram territory. And a good gain on that play by Wade Wilson, and a gain of 7 yards. Defensively for the Rams, Robert Young, who has 7 quarterback sacks, tied with Turnbull. Mark Boutte from LSU and Sean Gilbert, along with the veteran Fred Stokes. Chris Martin, Shane Conlon, and Roman Pfeiffer are the linebackers. And the secondary, Todd Light, Darrell Henley at corner. Michael Stewart and Anthony Newman are the safety. It'll be 2nd down and 2 at the 43. There's the Rams defense. And Wade Wilson said the biggest improvement has been on that defensive line coming into this game. 2nd and 2, and the give up the middle is to Brad Muster, the fullback. He's got another first down inside the 40. A gain of 5 yards for Muster. Conlon on the stop. And for the baseball update, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg?
All right, Dick, it's all over in Atlanta. Greg McMichael locks up Tom Glavine's 22nd win of the year, striking out Darrell Boston. The Braves beat Colorado 5-3. The Giants now have to beat the Dodgers to keep pace. Otherwise, Atlanta's champions of the NL West, Dick.
All right, Greg, so pressure will be on the Giants, as it has been the last couple of weeks, but they seem to have answered each charge. First down on the 38 for the Saints.
Well, the point on the left side.
And Wilson is going to the left side, and the pass is caught. Completed to Quinn Early. It's been a while since Early has been free for a pass as long as 18 yards, but that's what it is, and a first down with Henley making the tackle.
And, of course, the great thing about it is, again, pass protection is very good. Wade Wilson's got a chance to step up into the pocket, delivers the ball inside right on the numbers, and the key is pass protection. Look at a good job of blocking.
They kept the dangerous defensive players out. Here's the handoff to Derek Brown. Brown gets to the 15-yard line, and the tackle by Chris Martin. Derek Brown, who's returning to Anaheim, where he attended high school just about a mile or so from this stadium. He said he never got a chance to play here at the stadium. He missed by 1 game of playing in the city championship and bought 55 tickets for the game.
And I asked him if he was always a fan of the Rams. He said, no, I was a fan of the 49ers.
Interestingly enough, well, he's going to have a chance to play them again. 2nd down and 5. Torrance Small in as the 3rd wide receiver. The ball at the 15 of the Rams. Wilson with a lot of time, dumps it off, and a superb catch by Derek Brown. Penalty marker is down, and Brown gets in for the touchdown, but a flag is down on the opposite side of the end zone. What a great catch by Derek Brown. Missing the tackle was Roman Pfeiffer, and let's see if it'll go.
And the nice thing about the play, Wade Wilson looking downfield to deliver a ball downfield, spotted him and dumped the ball off to him, and the rest is history. Now watch the replay again. Now Brown is setting up, sees a linebacker come. The ball is thrown a little bit behind him, but in spite of that, he was able to suck it up, go right through two would-be tacklers, and goes into the end zone for the touchdown.
So Derek Brown with a great catch and run. Penalty against the Rams declined by the Saints. Morton Anderson, who has been perfect in conversions, is successful again. And it is 7-0 in favor of the New Orleans Saints as they score on their first drive of the ball game. 7-0, and we'll be back.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. McDonald's, what you want is what you get at McDonald's today. New loose fit Dockers, nobody does pants like Dockers. And by Priority Mail from the United States Postal Service, we deliver for you.
Derek Brown, who came into the game tied for second on the team in receiving. He's the leading rusher and third in the conference. Really making an impact. The rookie from Nebraska. Now Morton Anderson will kick off. And Steve Israel and Russell White are back deep for the Rams. He'll get another chance. 7-0 in favor of the Saints, and it'll be down and out of the end zone. Russell White on the receiving end, and the Rams will start again from their 20.
And Morton is really, everybody knows, such a special kicker, but it's amazing. And the first kick is never quite as long, and the more he kicks, the longer the balls go. He'll kick one right into the tunnel here the next time, probably.
Those photographers that are lining the end zone, Hank, better scamper.
That's right.
Because ball may land right around their midsection.
Yeah, they're thinking somebody's dropping bombs on them.
Pigskin bombs
from a Humperdinck up above.
So Everett goes to work again from the 20-yard line. He's got Gary and Lester as split running backs. And here's Cleveland Gary trying to get outside. And does a fairly good job of getting about 4 yards on the play. James Williams makes the tackle. Williams again is playing in place of Sam Mills, who, Hank, was readmitted to the hospital. That infected right knee is really something that's hanging in there with Mills.
Yes, I talked to Dean Kleinschmidt, you know, the great trainer of the New Orleans Saints, on the field before the game. He indicated that, but I don't think it's anything serious. And I know that Sam will be out of the hospital soon and be back in business. And
Williams has done a terrific job with showing good speed at inside backer as a reserve. 2nd down and 6 on the 24-yard line. Ellard goes in motion. Everett had to rush the pass as Ronaldo Turnbull came storming in. He's got Irv Eatman on that side, and the crowd is booing Jim Everett, but they may be booing the wrong guy right now.
Yeah, that's right. You got to give Turnbull a lot of credit. He put the pressure on Jim Everett. There's nothing else he could have done except take a sack, and that would have been worse than what happened with a incompleted forward pass.
And as we all know, quarterbacks look good or bad depending on their protection and their running game.
That's it. That's the key.
These are final scores in the NFL and other games underway. James Lofton is in the lineup for the first time. Just signed last week by the Rams. 3rd down and 6, and Everett's pass is overthrown, and that'll bring up 4th down. Reginald Jones was the closest man to the ball, and Everett now 1 for 5 and only 9 yards. He got off to a good start, completed his first pass, but 4 straight incompletions, and McJulian will kick the ball.
And again, they're putting a lot of pressure on the pocket, and that's the key always. I don't care who the quarterback is, it doesn't make any difference. You put pressure on the pocket, you're going to make a throw for it.
McJulian will kick for the 2nd time and does not get off a long kick, but it's high enough, and Hughes calls for the fair catch. There was contact, but it was incidental and no flag thrown. That was Thomas Homko. So the Saints will have decent field position following a 42-yard kick by McJulian, and Hank and I will be back. 6:31 remaining in the first quarter. The Saints leave 7-0, and Henry, they're kind of zooming into where we are upstairs. I think we're going to have to get a couple of oxygen masks before this one's over.
Well, I already got the goggles, so I'm in pretty good shape.
That's where we are, high above, as they say, Anaheim Stadium. But the Saints with a 7-0 lead, and they have the ball starting from the 34-yard line. Wilson gets some time, and his pass, and wide open is Eric Martin, and he gets out of bounds. And the Saints right now are making it look easy. A 30-yard pass play to Eric Martin, who caught the big pass and got a few extra yards to set up Morton Anderson's winning field goal last week. Darrell Henley on the tackle.
Now watch Port. Watch Port blocking in there. The offensive lineman, Gilbert, they're doing a good job on him, and as a result, he's their key guy. He's their key rusher, number 90, but they did a good job of keeping him on the line of scrimmage, and as a result, why Wade Wilson had plenty of time to throw the football.
First down on the 36, and Eric Martin has now caught a pass in 94 straight games. Here is Derek Brown, straight up the middle, and gets good yardage on first down, picks up 7 yards to the 29-yard line. Tackled by Pfeiffer.
Watch Gilbert, number 90, on the nose this time. Look at it, he's blocked again. He knocked back. Look at this. He's not a factor in the play. They went right by him as he tries to reach out and make a tackle or a hit on Brown. Very good job by Hilgenberg on the play.
So far, the Saints offensive front has kept the Rams defensive threat away.
Look at the left side. Look at a Boyd on the left side, one-on-one if they throw the ball.
They don't, and Derek Brown's not going to get much, Hank. They had a good one-on-one matchup, bump and run on the left side, and Brown is stopped by Newman and a loss of 1.
Yeah, that corner, Henley was about 10, 12 yards off the ball that time. It looked like it would have been a very good automatic to throw to the receiver on the outside, but they decided to run the ball, didn't get anything on the play.
So the Rams will have a chance with their pass rushing combo in there. Gerald Robinson comes in as a defensive end, and Robert Young moves inside. 3rd down and 5 from the 31 coming up.
Well, look at the right corner. Look at that. Look how far off the ball. All you got to do is dump the ball out there and let the guy catch it.
Out of the shotgun is Wade Wilson.
Yeah. See it.
4-man rush, and Wilson's pass is incomplete. He wanted to go to Patrick Newman, and Newman was defended. They wouldn't have had the first down in any event, as Robert Bailey was right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I don't know why he ran that kind of a pattern, because the Boyd was really right in front of the defensive back. He had one-on-one, plenty of room there. He had about 10, 12 yards. And they ran right into where all the people were.
So Morton Anderson is aboard to try to kick a field goal 48 yards. His longest was the game winner against the 49ers last week. Tommy Barnhart will hold.
He gets the flaps up in a hurry, too.
And Morton Anderson's kick is good. He can kick him inside, he can kick him outside, he can kick him late, and he can kick him early.
I don't know why they waste time kicking field goals. They say, go ahead and we'll give you 3 points. Let's kick off and give us the ball. Save some time.
10-0 now in favor of New Orleans.
Watch this now. Watch Morton Anderson here. And Barnhart, look at this. They look like Rams butting heads, don't they? Got the wrong helmet on. And here's the coach. Look at Jim Moore. That's a lot of animation on the part of Jim Moore. He doesn't do that. He clapped 3 times. That's a lot for him.
Boy, New Year's Eve, he must be as elated as that, too, I'm sure. Morton Anderson.
And if he claps more than 3 times, he puts the glove on.
Anderson kicking off for the 3rd time in this quarter, and it's going to be Russell White returning for L.A. And White dives forward on the skin portion. They still have the baseball infield down here at Anaheim Stadium where the Angels play. And a return of 13 yards by White with a tackle by Sean Lumpkins. So the scoring drive resulting in a field goal of 5 plays. They went 35 yards, and Anderson, in his last 30 field goals, 29 of them have been inside 50 yards. It's like a machine.
You know, the other thing about this New Orleans team, we talked about it yesterday, and I sincerely feel this. I really think at this stage of the season, the New Orleans Saints are without a doubt the best all-around football team in the National Football League. That's this week.
First down on the 18-yard line. Again, a running play, Bettis. Look at Bettis go. No surprise to everyone we talked with yesterday. Jerome Bettis, the #1 draft pick out of Notre Dame, finally brought down by Les Miller after a gain of 10.
And he's a delightful guy to talk to yesterday, wasn't he? Very enthusiastic, loves to play the game. Watch this now. He's big and he's strong and he's sturdy. Look at it. Lowers the shoulder, keeps the head up and the eyes open, is still fighting for extra yardage, and stretches that gain by another 3 or 4 yards. The great backs are determined really by how many yards they make after they're hit the first time.
You better get him early or you won't get him at all. Again, Bettis diving beyond the 30-yard line. And the whistle had blown. The play was down after a short gain by Bettis. So the Rams picked up the first down. And Bettis on this play gets 3 yards.
And talking about Bettis, I talked to the great Paul Horning during this offseason at a golf tournament. We talked about Bettis, and he said in his mind, with all the great backs that played at Notre Dame, without a doubt, this kid was by far the very best. He's going to have a great future in professional football.
Boy, coming from the Golden Boy, that says a lot. Bettis and the Redskins' Reggie Brooks may be the 2 best rookie backs this season, and both happen to hail from South Bend, Notre Dame. 2nd down and 7. Everett looking one way, and his pass is out of bounds, intended for Henry Ellard and covered by Toy Cook.
Well, that was good coverage on a part of the Saints. You see, he wanted to throw the ball to the right side. They were covered, they were faded. He went back across the field to the left side, and the ball was incomplete. But again, it's a great indication of the kind of coverage that existed on that last play.
Tampa Bay beat the Detroit Lions, and Chicago over Atlanta 6-0. It was Green Bay getting thumped by the Dallas Cowboys 36-14. Troy Aikman threw for 317 yards. And Montana and Kansas City, although Montana got hurt in that. 3rd down and 7. And out of the backfield, the pass is complete to Cleveland Gary, and he's got a first down. And the crowd booing a few moments ago, now cheering the blue and gold of the Rams in a gain of 17 yards. It was Vince Buck and Vaughn Johnson on the play.
That's a circle pattern, meaning the back comes right out of the backfield. Watch him come out of there on the right side. And the nice thing about the pass was the fact that he threw it about 6 yards, but he threw it right in front of the receiver, right about number high. He caught the ball in full stride and was able to make a nice gain on the play.
Cleveland Gary, the 2nd leading receiver coming in behind Ellard. First down and a play action. And Ellard under a big rush had to get rid of it in a hurry. And that was intended for Tim Lester as Ronaldo Turnbull very nearly got to Jim Everett for a 2nd time.
This is what happens with a play action fake when they don't pay any attention to the fake. Now watch it. Watch Turnbull, number 97, coming to the outside, you see, and he's Everett sees him coming. He's got to dump the ball off before he really wanted to, and as a result, the fall's incomplete. The last time he had plenty of time to throw the ball, looked like a great quarterback. This time he didn't have the time and didn't complete it. So now, you know, they boo the quarterback,
I think
right?
protection has something to do with this, huh?
Yeah, just I would go way out on the limb and say it has a little bit to do with it, yeah.
2nd down and 10, and here is the running play to Jerome Bettis. And he'll have another first down for the Rams. And the offensive line that time for the Rams open up a big hole and a gain of 12. Taylor and Cook and Buck on the stop.
Look at it, right up the middle, a little high diddle, right up the middle, and he cuts back. That's the key. See, Warren that time came way over on the other side, and he cut behind, ran across his face, and picked up the yardage on the play. Good running on the part of Jerome Bettis, number 36.
And a fine block by the left guard, Tom Newberry. Bettis with 28 yards so far. A first down on the Saint 39, and the give this time is to Bettis. He gets a couple of yards on the play, a gain of 2. We have a minute and 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Dick Stockton and Hank Stram here at Anaheim Stadium. Chuck Knox's Rams trying to get back in the game. The Saints lead it 10-0. Bettis has now gained 6 yards per carry, has 30 yards thus far.
And if you're wondering how big he is, he's 5'11", 245. 245, that's after a workout.
Well, he looked like a lineman when we talked to him yesterday. 2nd down and 8. Everett having a scramble. Frank Warren chasing him. And Everett gets a few extra yards before stepping out of bounds. Frank Warren had chased Everett to the sideline. Wayne Martin was the man who finally forced him to go out of bounds after a gain of 1.
Watch Everett now again. Back in the pocket. Look at the pressure. Look at the push by Jackson from the outside. Now Warren is in hot pursuit. And of course, Jim Everett twinkle toes down the sideline like a big giraffe. 6'5", long legs.
It's funny to see a big guy do the tightrope walk that way.
And he's got very deceptive speed too. He's a little slower than you think.
3rd down and 7, plenty of time, and the pass is knocked down. A fine defensive play made by Jimmy Spencer, a nickel back, on the pass intended for Flipper Anderson, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Rams. And here comes Tony Zendejas. Fine play.
Here again, a great play on the part of the Saints.
Outstanding play by Jimmy Spencer.
I thought that's who it was, 37.
So here is Zendejas, a 53-yard field goal attempt to try to put the Rams on the scoreboard. Mike Pagel is the holder. And the kick is long enough, and the kick is good. Tony Zendejas. Zendejas has now made good on 9 straight kicks from 50 yards or beyond, dating back to 1988, and it is 10-3 with 3 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Boy, did he put a leg into this kick, and the Rams get something out of this.
And he's another guy that gets the flaps up in a big hurry. Look at his head stay still. Kicking the football, for the young people watching, you just can't keep your head down. You must keep it still. Morton Anderson is a great illustration of that.
Tony Zendejas puts the Rams within 7 points. So that was his 9th straight field goal of 50 yards or more. An NFL record, and now with 3 seconds to go, Zendejas will kick off to the Saints. Saints have won 6 in a row over the Rams here at Anaheim Stadium and trying to protect their undefeated record, 4-0 coming into this game. Back Zendejas in his career has made good of 15 of 19 kicks from 50 yards or beyond. Tyrone Hughes and Fred McAfee are back deep for the Saints. This is a returnable kick, and it's going to be Hughes at the 4-yard line. This will be the last play of the first quarter, and Hughes is hit, and good coverage by the Rams special teams. As time runs out in the first quarter, that was Chris Martin, former New Orleans Saint, who made the tackle. And that is the end of the first quarter here at Anaheim Stadium with the score, the Saints 10 and the Rams 3. We start the second quarter here at Anaheim Stadium with the Saints leading the Rams 10-3. Along with Hank Stram, I'm Dick Stockton. Joe Montana, as we mentioned, with Kansas City, impressively over the Raiders today, pulled a left hamstring after throwing 2 touchdown passes, and Dave Craig had to come in for him. Meanwhile, the Saints have a first down on their 23-yard line as we start the second quarter. Wade Wilson on a fake end around and a swing pass to Derek Brown. Brown, with a good ability running, getting the first down. He stopped, got the blockers ahead of him, and it was Fred Stokes who ultimately made the play.
Watch Gilbert now, number 90. He's on the nose of the center, making an inside rush, change his direction. You know, for a big guy, he can run. Look at him run. Great pursuit. Isn't really involved in the play, but it's a great illustration of the kind of running ability he has.
In the game at Dodger Stadium, no score between the Giants and the Dodgers playing the bottom of the second inning. The Braves have already won, and the Giants must win to force a one-game playoff tomorrow at Candlestick Park. First down, Saints on the 34. This time Brennan goes in motion, penalty marker down, Derek Brown, and this will be a penalty against the Saints. False start or an offsides call against New Orleans.
By the offense.
Better yet, a delay of the
5 yards,
game.
still first down.
5-yard penalty in any event.
Boy, Hobie Brinner that time, 85, got a good block on the linebacker, did a terrific job, but of course he does that consistently. You kind of take him for granted.
Jim Mora, who admitted that last week's win over the 49ers was one of the dramatic wins because the 49ers always seem to be on the upside of those close games, but not last week. Saints trying to keep it going. 1st and 15 after the penalty, back to the 29. Wilson has the pass knocked down, and that was Mark Boutte out of LSU in his second year who got his big paw up there. And now for an NFL update, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York. At least I hope it's NFL.
All right, it is, Dick. In San Francisco, Mark Logan from a yard out gets the touchdown, and the 49ers grab a 1-touchdown lead over the Vikings. It's 14-7 second quarter, Dick.
All right, Greg, could have been a baseball update. That's why I wasn't sure. 2nd down and 15. Early here in the second quarter. 3 wide receivers for the Saints. 4-man rush, and the handoff is to Brown up the middle, and the Rams close the hole in a hurry, led by Roman Pfeiffer out of UCLA, a gain of only 5 yards. Pfeiffer is bulked up a bit.
Good reaction by Pfeiffer, and he on this package, he's the middle linebacker. Look at Gilbert, a stunt on the play, hit the center and then try to go to the left side, but stumbled in the process. But good reaction on the part of the Los Angeles Rams, and it looks like the Rams are playing with a lot more enthusiasm since they made that field goal.
It'll be 3rd down and 10, and now their defense trying to close out the Saints here. Wilson out of the shotgun, gets a big pass rush, and the pass is incomplete. A tremendous rush put on by Michael Stewart on a safety blitz, and the Rams have taken over the momentum of this game, even though the Saints still lead by 7.
Well, you know what happens too is, when you get a blitz run up the middle, the quarterback sees that coming, so he knows he has to get rid of the ball quickly. When you blitz on the outside, he doesn't see him coming, so he disregards the blitz and steps up into the pocket and gets rid of that kind of a pass. But it was the right call at the right time for the Rams.
And Tommy Barnhart will be kicking. Back deep is Todd Kinchin. Interesting story. The former LSU player coming back from knee surgery. And Kinchin with a chance to return this one at the 22-yard line. Finally decked at the 30-yard line. Kinchin last year in the final game of the regular season returned 2 punts for touchdowns. And now he's back returning them for the Rams. That was a 44-yard kick, however, for Barnhart. Wilson has completed 5 out of 8. He was 3 for 3 on the first scoring drive by the Saints. And so far, it's been New Orleans through the air. Rams, however, have the ball and a first down on their 30-yard line. Jerome Bettis and Tim Lester are the running backs out of the I formation. Here's Bettis. Even then, he got a couple extra yards. Turnbull might have gotten a hand on him first, or was it Robert Goff? Goff, who was going in to play for Les Miller, who has a sprained knee. And Williams finally made the tackle.
Okay, watch this now. We get a good picture of it. They handled Turnbull in pretty good shape. You see that? The tight end McNeil does a good job getting on the inside of Turnbull and trying to keep him from between himself and also the ball carrier on the play.
2nd down and 6, and again they go to Bettis. Bettis gets to the 36-yard line, and that'll be 3rd down and 4 coming up. Tough to run on the New Orleans Saints. Very tough defense. In fact, the Saints defense have held the Rams to an average of 72 yards per game in the last 4 times they've played. There's Carl Dunbar, who goes to the sidelines.
And Wayne Martin, or I should say, Vaughn Johnson is all over the place. Making tackles. He made 22 of them, involved in 22 of them last week.
Coaches looked at the film. They thought he made 29, but the official was 22. 3rd down and 4. Russell White is in the game at running back, and the pass intended for White, tip, and let's see if if it's intercepted, and it is by the Saints after 3 tips. And now the line judges come in to say, no, it is an incomplete pass. I saw it from my angle, so it'll still be Rams ball. Wayne Martin had tipped the ball.
Here it is now. Watch, follow the bouncing ball. There it is, up in the air, bounces up again, and now it's slapped down again. But they call it an incompleted forward pass, no interception on the play.
Look at that, 3 tips, and Wayne Martin was the lineman almost intercepted. It is 4th down, and McJulian will kick back from the 20-yard line. So the Rams couldn't make much of their momentum shift, and Tyrone Hughes back for the Saints at the 22, and a good tackle at the 34-yard line by Steve Israel, the second special teams play for Israel. So we'll take a break early in the second quarter with the Rams trailing the Saints 10-3. When Tony Zendejas kicked a 53-yard field goal with 3 seconds to go, and then the Rams stopped the Saints cold, it looked like LA had a chance to make the most of their momentum. But now the Saints defense, as they have all year, come up big, and it's a 1st down for the New Orleans offense on the 34, leading 10-3, and the give is to Derek Brown, running off the left side, taking a few tacklers with him, and picks up nearly 8 yards on the play, making the stop Michael Stewart and Roman Pfeiffer. There's a bit of a surprise. The Jets leading 21-0, and Boomer Esiason has thrown 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Mitchell, the tight end. The 49ers way ahead of the Vikings, 21-7.
They call it New York Boomtown.
That's right. And Boomer Esiason, who's right now, boy, you got to think he's the comeback man at least the first 4 or 5 games. 2nd down and 2. Wade Wilson's pass, it's caught by Hobie Brenner, and it's a 1st down into Ram territory. Shane Conlon makes the stop after a gain of 11 yards.
Watch Rofe now, the right tackle, 77 on Young. Good protection, stays in front of him. Finally tries to cut him at the end, but it's way too late. And he's able to throw the ball over the top in good shape.
Willie Rofe, 305 pounds. He said, I didn't think I was big enough to play football. Got a lot of basketball bites when he was in high school from places such as the University of Connecticut, believe it or not. Here's a play-action pass, and the pass is incomplete, knocked down. It was intended. Pat Terrell did a great job. Quinn Early. And it was thrown into double coverage. Right now, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York with an update. Greg?
All right, Dick, you saw this score at San Francisco. Jim McMahon back to throw. Watch Eric Davis pick it off and then clear sailing. 41 yards and a touchdown. The extra point makes it a 21-7 49er lead over Minnesota in the second quarter. Dick?
All right, Greg. Vikings eking out 2 wins. Now seeing how the other half lives, playing the 49ers. Who coming back themselves after a loss to the Saints. 2nd down and 10, and the pass is beat, and it is incomplete, leading Eric Martin a little bit too much. Say, Eric Martin took a hit, but looks none the worse for wear as Anthony Newman back there defending.
Yeah, he really flew through the air, gave him a shot. And Rofe again, the right tackle, number 77, did a good job on Young. Good hit from the side by Anthony Newman.
One of the better physical receivers in the NFL, Eric Martin. 3rd down and 10. Saints on the Ram 47, leading 10-3. Out of the shotgun goes Wade Wilson. And a bad snap. Wilson under pressure. And he throws it up almost for grabs.
I don't know whether he was beyond the line of scrimmage or not on that play either. It's hard to tell. I was trying to see.
It was close. Fred Stokes with a great pass rush.
Oh, there. See, good composure. Now he goes back with the hound in the hair deal. Let's see where he is. Yeah, he threw it before he got to the line of scrimmage. Good presence on his part. He knew where he was and where the spot was, evidently.
Eric Martin was the so-called intended receiver. Todd Kitchen goes back as Barnhart with a beauty. High kick. And it bounces at the 5, and it is down at the 1-yard line. Vince Buck and a whole host of black jerseys with terrific coverage following the 46-yard kick. And Jim Everett will have to start from his own 1-yard line when we come back to the Big A.
Now Todd Kitchen right here, he's on about the, just about the 10, catches the ball, tries to signal for the catch about the 12-yard line. And on grass, see, you're better off to catch the ball, not because of what happened here, but you're better off to catch the ball because a lot of times it'll come back with a little reverse spin on synthetic turf that's going to go into the end zone most of the time.
Jim Everett with a quarterback sneak from his own 1-yard line, picks up one. This is going to be a very interesting sequence here with the Rams and Jim Everett against the terrific pressure that the Saints can put on. Cleveland Gary replaced by Jerome Bettis now.
Yeah, they're the goulash here, the gumbo, and as a result, they ought to try to go back in the pocket, get good protection, and try to get a big play out of the end zone.
Ellard comes out to the right, although no one really split too far wide for the Rams. Dodgers leading the Giants 1-0. Second down and 9. Here is Bettis, and he drives it out beyond the 5-yard line. A little breathing room, but that'll bring up third down. After the 4-yard pickup, Carl Dunbar and James Williams on the tackle. The Saints are using Dunbar as well as Robert Pigoff in the nose tackle position with Les Miller on the sideline.
And I'm sure that the Rams are going to try to take advantage of that situation because the regular is out of there on the play, Les Miller. That's where they wanted to run to begin with. They like to run straight ahead better than sideways against this great reacting New Orleans Saints team.
It'll be third down and 5 from the 6. And rolling out to his left is Everett to buy time. And the pass, he was trying to get it to Henry Ellard, and he didn't have a defender near him, and the pass was thrown into the ground. And that'll bring up fourth down. And the Rams will have to kick and don't have much breathing room back there for Paul McJulian. Everett has now completed only 2 passes of 11 attempts for 26 yards.
And McJulian is not a long kicker. He hangs the ball up there high. I think that's what they like for him to do. But he averages 36 yards a kick going into this game, which is not good. And as a result, why the Saints ought to come out of here with very, very good field position.
Kicked a little better in this game, formerly with the Green Bay Packers and the Canadian League. And a returnable kick to Tyrone Hughes at the 45-yard line. Turns the corner and gets inside the 30. And you're right, Hank, the Saints are going to have golden field position as Thomas Homko makes the tackle after a 21-yard return by Tyrone Hughes. And Sean Lumpkin with a terrific block on special teams.
Well, here's a great illustration how important turnovers are in field position. Now you got a short field to play on, and the fact that you got the opportunity with a short field, that's good, but the only thing that's really important that you take advantage of it, get points now. Look at, now watch Hughes now. He does a good job making decisions. See, he's got good eyes, head up, eyes open, makes a good move here, back inside again. Got the most out of that return as he possibly could, and he's always under control making those cuts.
First down on the 26-yard line. Good field position, Derek Brown. Off right tackle. Picks up about 5 yards. Mark Boutte up front making the tackle in a game that time for Brown of 5.
That time he made a bad decision. He had a big hole on the right side, didn't see it, cut inside instead of breaking outside to the hole. He would have really made a big game.
Derek Brown picked on the 4th round out of the University of Nebraska. One of the tough running backs out of Lincoln, Nebraska. They've had a history for tough backs, no matter what their size. Second down and 4, and here's Brad Mustard, former Chicago Bear, and he gets close to first down yardage near the 16-yard line. Making the tackle was Shane Conlon, the former Buffalo Bill.
Rope from the right side that time, did a good job of getting off the ball. Watch this again.
played at Michigan State, he was telling us yesterday, 1959, defensive lineman.
Yeah, he talked about he was very proud of that too, wasn't he? We had a lot of fun talking about the car phone. He kind of laughed at that. I said, Slater, we talked to Slater about that. And he said, yeah, I still can't afford a car phone.
He has a maid.
And how about a maid? He's got a maid too. He's really walking the dog.
Jackie Slater came along too early. They're going to measure to see whether the Saints got the first down on Muster's carry with 6:49 remaining in the half. They are shy by about a foot or so. Third down and less than a yard.
Well, it'll be interesting to see now if they go to the right side to their big, strong tackle Rope, or whether they go over the left side behind Cooper and Port.
And the Anaheim Stadium crowd on its feet to try to make things tough for Wade Wilson here. And the give is to Derek Brown. He's got a first down, stays on his feet after one hit and gets inside the 10. Robert Bailey making the tackle, a gain of 8 for Derek Brown, who came into the game as the third leading rusher in the NFC after picking up 88 against the Niners.
Watch the right side here. Now look at Toby Brenner getting a good block at the point of attack. A big hole. Rope gets a good block. Also, Muster goes through the hole leading and doesn't have to block anybody. 8-yard gain in the play.
Brown has gained 37 yards on 7 carries with under 6 minutes remaining in the half, and a first and goal at the 9-yard line. 2 tight ends, and Brown gets a couple. It was Mark Boutte, who's been in on a few running plays, in on the stop and a gain of 2 yards. It'll bring up second and goal.
It was interesting to talk to Brown yesterday. I asked him how many times, if he had a choice, how many times would he like to carry the ball in a game. He said, well, as many as I possibly could. I said, how many times do you have to run the ball to get in the flow of the game? He said, about 2 carries. He's the only back that I've ever talked to other than Walter Payton. Walter Payton said, I don't need any time. First time I'm ready. He said after 2 plays.
Most backs say, give me about 9 to 10. Second and goal on the 7. Wade Wilson's pass intended for Hobie Brenner, and it's low and knocked down. Good coverage by Chris Martin. Martin, of course, is playing in place of Rolling, had been with Kansas City and about 10 years ago with the New Orleans Saints, where he played for Bum Phillips.
And they like Chris Martin very, very much. They think he's a terrific player, good reactionary guy, good leader in the locker room also.
Third down and goal, and Dalton Hilliard, the third down back, is in there, and they load up the left side with 3 wide receivers.
Look at all the room on the right side. Now they ought to do business on the right side. The back coming out of the backfield ought to be there.
Wilson's pass is incomplete. Patrick Newman, or Quinn Early, had the ball, and it was a gamble by the Ram defender Robert Bailey. He tried for the interception and very nearly got burned, and Early nearly had the reception after all.
Well, I was surprised he threw the ball there because the folks were all on that side. The right side had a 2-on-2 situation.
And Early very nearly got it on the second go-around.
He sure did.
So a 25-yard field goal attempt. Morton Anderson has already kicked one from 48 yards. Barnhart holding. And the kick is perfect. And it is now 13-3, and the Rams have to breathe a little sigh of relief that the Saints didn't get a touchdown on that series, considering the field position. 13-3 in favor of the Saints. 5:02 to go in the first half. Anderson kicking off to Russell White and Steve Israel, and it'll be White who bobbles it in the end zone, and the Rams again will start from the 20.
Boy, that's discouraging. I tell you, that's discouraging. When you know you're going to get the ball in the 20, you got to go 80. You know, talking to Mora yesterday, we asked if he had any disappointing things happen to him in the 4 games that they played and won. And you knew he'd come up with something. He said, well, yes, very frankly. He said, last week, while we had the ball in plus territory on 3 occasions and never scored a touchdown. So we're concerned about that. Now it happened again today.
Yeah, they had the Rams backed up to their 1 in great field position and managed only 3 again. So now the Rams trailing by 10 Everett's pass is caught by Flipper Anderson, and it'll be a first down and out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Vince Buck was defending Anderson, who's been on the receiving end of 2 touchdown passes from Everett the last 2 weeks.
Play action pass that time, trying to slow down the rush. Watch Ricky Jackson. He's hanging on the line of scrimmage, going back into coverage. That's not on attack. He throws it right over the top. There's no way in the world he can make a play on that ball unless he was Will Chamberlain.
And he's not. First down on the 34. Jerome Bettis in at running back, and on a play action and a good fake. Everett's pass out of the backfield to Lester, and he is upended at the 41-yard line by Toy Cook. Toy Cook with a gutty play, and he's limping out there. He's a Southern California native, and he's going to see if he stays in the game.
Now watch the back go through the hole on the fake. If he does a good job of faking, he should be tackled. He wasn't tackled, so then that means that you ought to be giving him the ball on that kind of a play.
They're working on Toy Cook, and it's his above his left knee, as he really made a terrific tackle on Tim Lester, who's a tough man to bring down in an open field situation.
And people make a big fuss about the fact there's a lot more injuries on synthetic turf than there is grass. But here's an illustration of it. You know, you never know what's going to happen. It's not anybody's fault. It just happens.
It could happen anywhere on a football field of any surface. Reginald Jones will replace Cook, and we'll be back. There's Toy Cook, who apparently is all right. He'll sit this play out at least. And there's the flip to Jerome Bettis going off the left side. Doesn't have much room. And Ronaldo Turnbull, who is playing a pursuit position, not as a pass rusher on that play, limits Bettis on that play to 3 yards. Score from Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers are up 2-0 after 3 innings of play against the Giants. They're in the top of the 4th inning, and if the Giants don't come back in that game, the Atlanta Braves will win the National League West title and will begin their LCS against the Phillies in Philadelphia on Wednesday. Atlanta beat Colorado earlier 5-3. First down on the 45, and the give is to Bettis. Barrels his way up the middle. Very tough man to bring down, low center of gravity, and he gets close to midfield in a gain of 5.
And the nice thing about it is if he bounces off the tackler, why then of course he's got a chance because he's got good speed. Got a good chance to go all the way on the play. You know, this is one of the few teams in the National Football League that really features the I formation in its true form more so than anybody else in the league.
Toy Cook, of course, has suffered the bruised knee, and he is back in the lineup at cornerback. It'll be second down and 5 at midfield. With 2:56 to go, and Everett getting rid of it in a hurry. And the pass is caught by Troy Dayton. Rookie from, or Drayton, I should say, the rookie from Penn State. He picks up 8 yards. He's a fine receiver. Keith Taylor on the tackle.
Yeah, I talked to Ernie Zampese, the coordinator, about him on the field before the game. He's a great-looking prospect, and he said he's going to be terrific. You know, he has to make the adjustment. He was a flanker in college, and now he's a tight end. And that time, he stood in the pocket very, very well, talking about Jim Everett, and got the ball out there to Drayton in good shape.
First down on the 42-yard line. Here is Bettis. He finds a hole off the left side. And look how many Saints it takes to bring him down. Jerome Bettis, the 10th player picked in the draft out of Notre Dame, picks up about 10 yards as we wind down to the 2-minute mark. It was Ronaldo Turnbull and then Gene Atkins providing the hit. So the Rams are in Saint territory, and our 2-minute warning is upon us. And Hank and I will return to Anaheim Stadium after these messages. Game 1 of the American League Championship Series comes your way Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. The Blue Jays against the White Sox. Hope Frank Thomas is all right. That's going to be a big factor for Chicago. And the first pitch of that game will begin at 8:12. And then game 1 of the National League Series, Braves or the Giants at Veterans Stadium against the Phillies Wednesday night. First pitch at 8:12. Second down and 1 out of the I formation. Here is Bettis going wide, and he may not have made it as the Saints converge very close to the mark. We have 1:50 remaining in the half. Each team still has its 3 timeouts. Ricky Jackson was in on the play. And finally, the Rams have used up a timeout with 1:47 showing on the clock.
And Pig Goff is now playing on the nose of the center.
They've used several as Les Miller with a sprained knee has not returned to the game after being injured early in the first quarter. Rams have 2 timeouts remaining after a timeout with 1:47 to go. It'll be 3rd down and 1. So the Rams couldn't get the first down.
I'll go way out on the limb and say they're going to give it to Bettis.
I don't know, Hank. I don't. You're right. It's Bettis, and he's got the first down. I tell you, all those years at Kansas City, the Super Bowl, the whole thing, and your knowledge to know that. Would you have liked to have had a guy like Bettis on your team?
Oh,
you had good ones as
You talk about trying to tackle a rolling manhole cover. That's it.
61 yards and 13 carries for Jerome Bettis, who came into the game as the leading rusher for the Rams, despite the fact he had only 1 start this year. Now a first down on the 29. Everett to throw, and he's going to go down back to the 35. And there's Turnbull with his 8th quarterback sack of the year, and as far as we know, leads the league right now. A loss of 6 yards.
You talk about putting him in a vice. Turnbull really wrapped him up and almost strangled him there. Couldn't do anything with his arms or anything on the play. Watch this now. Watch him go back and watch Eaton, the left tackle, trying to block him. He reaches over the top. He's got a wingspan like a 747. Right over the top and still makes the play.
Remember, Turnbull's the fellow who replaced Pat Swilling in a trade that really turned out well for the Saints. They got Lorenzo Neal, the great running back who had a terrific second game of the year before he was injured. But they got the rights to Neal and also the offensive lineman William Rowe, and Turnbull got a chance to start in Swilling's place.
Well, that's a great illustration of what a good job I think Bill Kaharick and the whole staff has done from the scouting standpoint. You know, they got young people on this team, and all of a sudden they keep coming up, like Turnbull has come up, Port has come up, Cooper has come up, and goes on and on and on. But they do a great job of teaching and getting these young people ready when the opportunity prevails.
Second down and 16 from the 35-yard line. Everett goes down again. That's the problem when your protection breaks down and there are penalties when you could be getting into field goal range. 3 points for the Rams would have made this a tighter game, and Vaughn Johnson picking up his 2nd sack of the season in a loss, that time of 9 yards. And now the Saints want a timeout after the Rams use their 2nd timeout.
Yeah, that's what's murder about that thing. You got a good march going, and you want up to the rear march. You see, look at the blitz. Look at Jackson coming from the outside, and here comes Johnson right up the middle. Now, again, as I told you, the quarterbacks don't see the outside guy very much, but they see the guy in the middle. When they see him coming, and they're caving in the outside, you know he's in trouble.
Saints have 2 timeouts remaining, and the Rams 1 with 1:01 remaining. Want to remind you, coming up on the NFL Today halftime report, Greg and Terry with the scores and highlights and latest information, and Dan Rather with a CBS News special report on the unrest in Moscow, all coming up at halftime. 1 minute and 1 second remaining, and the Saints, of course, called the timeout because they envision getting the ball back for one last shot themselves. It'll be 3rd down and 25 for the Rams on the Saints 44. 10th play of the drive is coming up. Rams were driving, and as Hank mentioned, the middle broke down. The Saints drove Everett back for losses of 16 yards. Steps up this time on the pass to Cleveland Gary, incomplete. He was covered on the play by Keith Taylor. So the Saints will get the ball back. 4th down and a kick with 57 seconds remaining in the half.
See, they had a lot of momentum going on that drive. I thought this could take that away from them, because I thought had they scored before the half, they would have really gone at halftime highly motivated and really ready to play in that second half, talking about the Rams.
You're right, Hank. Twice today, the Rams seem to get momentum on their side, only to see it snuff out in a hurry. Vic Julian will be kicking, and Tyrone Hughes is back standing on his 10-yard line. end-over-end kick and a fair catch called for by Hughes at the 14-yard line. Doesn't take much to get the ball into Morton Anderson's range. That was a 31-yard kick. Saints still have 2 timeouts remaining. Julian, of course, had been with the Packers where he replaced Don Bracken, and he comes to the Rams and replaces Don Bracken here as well.
And you know, he did a lot of very good kicking for the Green Bay Packers. Looks like he's a lot heavier. It looks like he got pumped up since the last time I saw him. A little heavier than he was the last time.
He looked heavy in Green Bay, too.
Well, he did kind of.
Did he? I mean,
you get pumped up like that. You know,
well,
you go to the Philly Stadium, get pumped up, and then you come back, and it's hard to get the leg up as far as the should go, and you have a hard time kicking the ball.
I hate to use the phrase like Michelin Man, although I'm not supposed to be naming products. 1st and 10 on the 14-yard line. Derek Brown is the running back, 3 wideouts. And on the draw play, Brown falls down. See, he was tripped up or not. It was Mark Boutte who put the seal on him. Story out of Giant Stadium where the Jets were leading the Eagles 21-0. Randall Cunningham suffered an injury to his left fibula, we understand. So we'll find out more about that from Greg and Terry at halftime in that game that's being played now. 2nd down and 10. Brown going outside this time and is stopped just about at the 20-yard line by Todd Light. And the Saints are not going to use their timeouts. They'll be content letting the clock run.
Yeah, that's smart. They don't want to take a chance of doing something foolish down to this part of the field and give the ball back to the Rams with the opportunity for them to get 3 points or maybe 7. They're going to run off the clock, put the ice pick in the ball, let the air out of it or some sand in it, and forget about it.
Do that to McJulian as well, maybe at halftime. Who knows? That's the end of the first half. With the score, the New Orleans Saints 13 and the Los Angeles Rams 3. And we're back at Anaheim Stadium at halftime. The New Orleans Saints 4-0 on the year, leading the 2-2 Los Angeles Rams 13-3, along with Hank Stram, Dick Stockton here. And the only touchdown was on the first series by the Saints. Wade Wilson hit Derek Brown for the touchdown.
And it was a good play on the part of Wade Wilson because it was a reactionary play. He was looking to his right. Nobody open. He dumps the ball off to Derek Brown. He makes a great move inside. Puts it right in the end zone for the touchdown. The ball fell loose, but it was over the line, so it didn't make any difference.
He crossed the plane. Now let's take a look at the rushing stats. And right now the Rams have the edge thanks to Jerome Bettis, who has gained 61 yards. They have a 16-yard edge. But the passing is the important thing, and right now the Saints have a 97-41 edge. You brought out at the beginning of the game that the Rams are going to have to pass to win in this game.
That's right, and I think they still have to pass to win, and if they're not going to pass any better than they did in the first half, they're not going to win this game.
There have been a couple of momentum shifts that the Rams had briefly, but especially in the last drive when they might have gotten 3 out of it, but the Saints defense, as they have all year, came up strong and knocked them out of field goal range.
Yeah, and they took the momentum right away from it when it looked like they were starting to ease a little into the picture and get some confidence, why they took it right away from talking about New Orleans.
Saints will get the ball first, and Tony Zendejas will be kicking off. Back deep will be Tyrone Hughes and Fred McAfee. McAfee is on the left. And Zendejas, who connected on a 53-yard field goal, kicks it off, and it's returned by McAfee inside the 5-yard line. And he is finally stopped shy of the 25 by Jeff Brady. You're wondering how the quarterbacks fared in the first half. Wade Wilson and Jim Everett. Wilson 6 of 14. And, of course, the touchdown toss that you saw to Derek Brown, and Everett 5 of 15 for 56 yards. And Wade Wilson, as he comes out, now has thrown 6 touchdown passes on the year and only 1 interception. In fact, he has thrown 1 interception in 125 passing attempts so far this year. Pretty good. First down on the 24-yard line. And on the draw play, Derek Brown. And the Rams close it up after a gain of a couple. That'll bring up 2nd down and long, gain of 3.
You know, another interesting thing about the Saints, their offense, they gained 157 yards in total offense in the first half. 105 of those 157 yards were initiated on first down. And they've done a good job of balance between the run and the pass. 5 runs, 9 passes on first down.
In fact, on that first series when the Saints scored, Wade Wilson was throwing virtually on every first down situation. 2nd down and 7. Wilson getting some pressure, and the pass is caught. A great reception by Quinn Early. He was actually had slipped down and made the catch, and a gain of 20 yards close to midfield and a first down. It was Henley and Newman defending.
Look, Wade Wilson does a great job of falling back to get rid of the football with pressure. Look at this now. Look at Wade Wilson. Stops, he pumps. Now he's got to get out, falling away, gets rid of the ball right about the time the pressure started to come with Stokes, number 60, and made the hit right on the sideline.
So after the 20-yard pickup, they're at the 48-yard line, and here's the handoff to Brown, who drives his way into Rams territory. They got 3 yards the first rushing play. They get 6 this time with Gerald Robinson in there to make the tackle. Gerald Robinson is playing a defensive end spot when Robert Young moves over to tackle in a 4-man front to put added pressure on the quarterback.
You might ask, you know, why are the Saints throwing the ball so much? And also, what about the run? You see, the best thing they do, talking about the Rams, is they like to rush the passer, so you got to run at them to keep them away from what they like to do best.
Like the Saints did there with Brown, and he picked up only 2 yards. Pfeiffer on the stop. The Rams, by the way, are playing as if it were long yardage. They have Gerald Robinson, their outside pass rusher, and 6 defensive backs in the game, and that's why you see Wade Wilson handing the ball off.
Yeah, that's right. You got 6 on 6 in that kind of a situation, and with the big, strong offensive line of the New Orleans Saints, why you ought to be able to do some business.
3rd down and 2 at the 44-yard line of the Rams. 13-3 early in the second half. And let's see whether the left side, whether Cooper or Port had drawn the Rams offside. Been relatively a penalty-free game, and the flag will be against the Saints.
Before the snap, false start, number 70 on the offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Port, the left guard.
We'll see this in the second. Look, see the left guard, Port, move prematurely. As a result, that's once you get in a 3-point stance, you cannot move before the ball is snapped. Trying to anticipate the count, and did move, and as a result, it's a 5-yard penalty on the New Orleans Saints.
Only 3 penalties marked off in the game thus far, all against New Orleans.
Look at all the room on the left side over the left receiver on the left side. Now look, oh, he's running inside on the play.
3rd and 7, and the pass intended for Eric Martin. Did he make the play? No, it's an incompleted pass. Darrell Henley was defending. Martin is arguing vehemently with the back judge that he held on to the ball, but it'll go as an incomplete pass, and the Saints will punt in their first possession.
I think Martin was saying that he caught the ball and then just let it roll out of his hands after he was down. That's what the argument is all about. Now Martin is in the inside receiver, cutting to the inside. There's the ball thrown. Well, you can't see that very well. It's not very conclusive. And the official was right there, so evidently he called it right.
Barnhart will kick it away, and Todd Kinchin. Good high kick, and Kinchin will call for the fair catch. And again, the Saints will have a chance to down it, but they don't. Well, again, there were about 5 or 6 black jerseys right around, hovering at the goal line, but the ball bounded into the end zone. So the Rams will bring it out from the 20-yard line. Along with Hank Stram, this is Dick Stockton at Anaheim Stadium. The Saints trying to win their 5th straight game. This is the 2nd time in their history they've won their first 4. And the Rams trying to get over 500 for the first time since 1989. First down at the 20-yard line for the LA Rams. Jerome Bettis and Tim Lester in the I formation. And they go to Bettis and a play action pass. Fooled this reporter, and Lester out of the backfield, still on his feet and still going, picks up maybe 9 yards. Good fake that time by Everett, I have to say that. Warren makes the tackle after a pickup of 9.
Watch Eatman here, the left tackle on Turnbull. See, pushes him beyond the backside, and he's holding him in the back right on the number 9. Wasn't called on the play, but he had a good grip on him.
That's the idea.
Yep.
Eatman is 32-year-old veteran, played with the Jets last year. He had not allowed a sack coming into this game. Here is Bettis, and he's got the first down. He can hand the ball off all day as long as they're not behind by too much. Robert Higoff on the tackle. Gain of 3 that time for Bettis. Dodgers lead the Giants 4-1, playing the bottom of the 5th inning at Dodger Stadium. Giants have some work to do. They want to extend the National League West race into a playoff game tomorrow. The Braves beat the Colorado Rockies earlier and ended up sweeping the expansion Rockies this year. That's never happened. First down on the 32-yard line, and another play fake, and Everett's pass is caught at the 45-yard line. And that's Flipper Anderson. And the Rams in business with a 13-yard pickup, and Toy Cook, who was injured earlier and came back on the play.
Yeah, that's Toy Cook covering on the play, number 41.
One thing we saw last week against the Oilers is when Everett gets in rhythm, as he did on the first series when he came down the field and scored, he can be awfully tough.
Well, the rhythm comes from pass protection. Once you get pass protection, it's amazing how much better rhythm you get.
First down on the 45-yard line. 9:42 remaining, and Bettis bounces off a defender and gets 1 yard. He made 1 yard out of nothing with Turnbull on the play.
Turnbull's really turned out to be a terrific linebacker, defensive player for the Saints, both against the run and also the pass. Look at this. He's good and low for a guy that's tall. He gets a good hit on Bettis and helps bring him down to the turf on the play.
Bettis, who has not been 100% himself, about 90% at a bruised sternum after an ankle injury in camp, gets the call again, and the workhorse carries the ball up to midfield, where it'll be 3rd down and about 5. Making the tackle for the Saints was Frank Warren up front, and Ronaldo Turnbull again.
Well, Travis McNeil, the tight end, number 82, got a good pop on Turnbull, but in spite of that, Turnbull was able to slip off the block and help make the tackle.
Last week, Vaughn Johnson with 22 tackles, and this week Turnbull, who has a sack and many tackles on running plays. It'll be 3rd down and 5 at midfield for the Rams. They trail by 10. Everett, and James Lofton makes the catch. That's his first reception in a Ram uniform, and he had to turn around to make it. Reginald Jones defending in a big hand for the 37-year-old record holder.
And the nice thing about Lofton is the fact that he's a good move guy. He's lost some of his speed, but he realizes the importance of being able to make good moves and run patterns precisely right. He does a good job here, and the nice thing about him also is that he has a good advantage on most defensive backs because he's 6'3" and he's a lot taller than most of the defensive backs in the league.
NFL's all-time leading receiving yardage leader at over 13,000 yards, and Bettis with a head of steam fights his way inside the 30-yard line and a gain of 6. Right now, for an update, let's check in with Greg again in our New York studio.
And having some success. A raging battle was fought over Russia's main television center. It turned bloody with both sides heavily armed, using grenades and machine guns and rocket launchers.
All right, Greg, it looks dim for the Giants right now. Mike Piazza headed for Rookie of the Year honors, but right now the Rams trying to get back in the game. Bettis going outside. I'll tell you, this is an impressive rookie, what he's done so far. He needed 4 yards, is shy of the first down, not by much. He picked up 2.
You know, the great thing about the Rams also is the fact that they've only had 2 fumbles so far this year and have lost none. So they're basically, you know, they're very, very similar, these 2 coaches, as far as the fundamental basic approach to the game is concerned. You know, nothing fancy. They just screw the hats on, pump the balls up, and play.
That's Chuck Knox's style. Randall Cunningham, by the way, will be out 6 to 8 weeks. They give it to Bettis, and he gets to the 25, very close. James Williams, the linebacker, and we may have a measurement. It was 3rd down and 1 yard, and Bettis the man to get the ball.
I'll tell you one thing, Dick, if they would fake Bettis into the line, they're reacting so quickly to Bettis, they just stick it in there and he rolls out right or left, he'd have a chance for a big play. talking about Jim Everett.
They spot the ball exactly on the 25, and we will have a measurement. You talked about Knox always has had good running backs, and I think in Jim Everett, he may be the best quarterback that Chuck Knox has ever had in all his years.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. That's probably right.
He misses the first down by, I'd say, a little over a foot, maybe a half a yard. Bettis has gained 78 yards on 19 carries, and Chuck Knox is going to tell the Rams to go for it on 4th down.
Oh, he's got to go for it here with this field position like it is, and I think it'll mean an awful lot to them if they can pick up the yardage.
And the Ram fans on their feet, trying to get back in the game, trailing 13-3 with 6:39 to go in the 3rd. And here is Bettis, first down and more to the 20-yard line.
Good surge by the offensive line. Newberry, Eatman, Brostick, Coaz, all of them coming off the ball in good shape and getting a good push. Watch the inside there. Watch him come off the ball. Look at this. And see there's a cavity, people on the ground. He sees the cavity, takes advantage of it, and with a good strength, really stretches that 1-yard gain into a 6-yarder.
And Tim Lester was blocking up front. First down from the 20. Everett's pass, and he throws it away. Good move. Ellard was double covered, and Jim Everett knew time was running out, and he just threw the ball away. Niners leading the Vikings 21-9. As the 49ers taking advantage of Minnesota turnovers there in the 3rd quarter of that game. 49ers trying to bounce back from their loss to the Saints last week. Denver over Indianapolis 28-10 in the 3rd quarter, both 2-1. Seattle leading San Diego. Seattle tough at home.
And they're coming on. They're getting better and better. They've got a very good defense, and their offense is getting better.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the 20-yard line of the Saints. There's a play fake, and Everett gets hit. And Turnbull came storming in, and he has really given Irv Eatman a tough go of it today. And to Everett's credit, he was able to get rid of the ball and avoid the sack.
Well, see, that was a play-action pass again, and if you're coming, you don't worry about the play-action pass. As a result, you see, you got an open shot at the quarterback. Jim Everett had no chance whatsoever to get rid of the football. It's a wonder he got rid of it at all.
So the ball's still at the 20. It is 3rd down and 10. Rams, penetrating this far, need to come out of this with something from their point of view. Out of the shotgun. Everett is being chased, and his pass is caught and incomplete. It is an incomplete pass. Vince Buck on Henry Ellard, and that'll bring up 4th down. Ellard looked like he might have held on to it long enough. And Zendejas will come in to try to add 3 more to the Rams total.
Somebody knocked it out of there. I think it was great defense on the part of the Saints. And here again, Turnbull coming on the outside, went beyond the quarterback that time. He throws it inside to Ellard. And it looks like Buck did a good job of scraping it loose on the play, number 26.
37-yard field goal attempt. Hagel holding for Zendejas. It's good. The Rams with their 2nd field goal of the game, a 37-yarder by Zendejas, who earlier kicked a 53-yard field goal, and the Rams find themselves trailing the Saints by 1 touchdown. 13-6 now as the Rams have narrowed the Saints' margin with 5 minutes 39 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Tony Zendejas will be kicking, and back deep, Tyrone Hughes and Fred McAfee. Saints have won 6 straight games against the Rams here at the Big A. Trying to extend it to 7. Taken down by McAfee at the goal line. McAfee finds an opening with a good move and a great kickoff return by Fred McAfee to the 40-yard line. And that's what it is, a 40-yard return for McAfee. And the Saints will start with good field position when Hank and I return in a moment.
Here's a great illustration of what happens when you don't kick the ball into the end zone. You've got a chance for the return, and you wind up with good field position. On this particular play, the Saints get the ball on about the 40-yard line, whereas the Rams start every drive almost on the 20.
First down from the 40, Derek Brown looking for running room, and he won't find anything. And that was Sean Gilbert. Maybe not a sack, but maybe an earthquake dance of some sort.
And when he does the dance, the whole stadium moves a little bit.
The average starting position today by the Saints, their own 35. The Rams have started from their own 18, and that's been one of the reasons why the Ram offense have been on their heels a bit.
Well, that's a great illustration again of how important Morton Anderson is with that strong leg he has.
Second down and 9 from the 42-yard line. Brad Buster along with Dalton Hilliard, who goes in motion. Wilson's pass, and it's out to Hilliard for a short gain. That was Anthony Newman holding Hilliard to a gain of only 3 yards.
And you know when Hilliard comes into the game, he's a guy they like to go to, but in spite of that, it still boils down to execution. You know, that's like saying, well, Tyson's got a great knockout punch. Well, you know he's got a great knockout punch. The opposite of the fighters don't get knocked out, but it still gets it's the same thing in football.
Third down and 7, and the Ram crowd back in the game big. The team trails by 7. Here's the pressure put on Wilson on a game, and the pass stopping short. A great tackle. Hilliard was stopped by Pat Terrell, who prevented the first down on an open field tackle. Great play.
Great play is right. A great illustration. You've got to make the open field tackle. He was in a good position, good hitting position, wrapped him up to make sure he couldn't squirm for extra yardage on the play. Look at this good hit. See, he wraps him up, slides down to his legs and knocks him to the turf and prevents him from making the first down.
An improving secondary for the LA Rams, and Pat Terrell is part of that. Here is Barnhart on a fake punt, and he's going to get the first down and a lot more. What a time for that play. A fake punt by Tommy Barnhart, and he scampers 18 yards and a first down into Ram territory.
And it's a great call by Joe Marciano, the specialty teams coach. Now look at Barnhart, does a good job. You expect him to kick the ball. Look at this. He goes through the motion, does a good job of faking. Good play. Look at a big hole over there on the left side. And he knows exactly where he has to go for the first down, makes the necessary yardage for the first down. And again, the Saints have good field position. They have possession of the ball, 1st and 10. And he already got 3 points already with the way Morton Anderson kicks the ball.
They're on the Ram 33, and what a way to take the wind out of the Ram sails with that maneuver. Wade Wilson dumps it off to McAfee out of the backfield, incomplete. Was not a good throw by Wilson. And that'll bring up second down. The clock is showing just under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
I think he had to throw the ball over the top of a defensive player, and as a result, couldn't get it there like he wanted to.
13-6, the Saints lead. The only scoring so far in the second half was a Zendejas field goal for the Rams. But the Saints getting an extra life on a fake punt. 18-yard run, 2nd and 10 on the 33. And once again, this is McAfee, and he's not going to get much that time as Shane Conlon, who's gone to 3 Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills, showed good pursuit and held McAfee to a gain of only 1.
And he's doing a good job of playing that middle linebacker to 4-3. You know, at Buffalo, he was one of the 2 inside linebackers. Now he's only 1. So you got to take a wide stance if you're 1 instead of those 2. But he's doing a good job of reacting to it better and better every week.
That's why he wanted to come to the Rams. That and money is that he wanted to be the middle linebacker, so to speak.
Right.
Third down and 10.
Look at all the room on the left side, one-on-one. A 9-yard cushion over the left side. See what happens.
Hilliard is the back out of the backfield, and Wade Wilson's pass to Hilliard, and he is stopped short of the first down again. But Morton Anderson, as you pointed out, has the leg to kick from there with ease, and he'll come on to try to give the Saints, again, a 10-point lead.
They ought to handicap Morton Anderson. They ought to put a blindfold on him and see if he can kick him through there, too, like he does. This is a given. from this distance.
A 43-yard attempt coming up. Jim Morris Saints relying on an early touchdown and 2 field goals for Anderson. Trying to make it 3 here. Barnhart is holding. 43 yards out. And this kick is good. 3 field goals today by Morton Anderson. And once again, the Saints keep the Rams at arm's length, leading 16-6 with a minute and a half left in the third. So the Saints lead by 10, 16-6 with a minute and a half remaining in the third quarter. Minnesota trailing the San Francisco 49ers. Bubby Brister in relief of Randall Cunningham has thrown 2 touchdown passes, and Cunningham is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured left fibula, coming off one of his biggest NFL triumphs, the last-second win over the Redskins just 2 weeks ago. Howard Griffith is back deep along with Steve Israel, and that ball will sail into the end zone and will be down for the touchback.
Another illustration, put it under 20 and go 80.
So we'll take a break again. Boy, Morton Anderson has earned his pay today in spades. Rams ball on the 20 when we return. And those NFC East rivals will tangle at RFK Stadium next week. Some of you will see the Cowboys and the Colts from Indianapolis. It all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern. 1:22 to go in the third quarter. Rams have the ball on the 20-yard line, trailing by 10. Play fake. Everett, and the pass is dropped by Bettis. He was there, and it'll be second down. Bettis has gained 83 yards, however, rushing, and that's the reason why Everett may not have people all over him now.
Well, the other thing about it is, you know, that's the first time. They've had the ball on 19 occasions. That was 20 on 1st and 10. They ran the ball 14 times and threw it only 5. So I think they got to do more of that at this particular stage of the game. In this quarter to try to get back in the game and disrupt the rhythm of the defense of the New Orleans Saints.
Everett's last 4 attempts have been incomplete. Second down and 10. This time they give it to Bettis, and he gets a big hole. Jerome Bettis. He ran over about 3 or 4 Saints and finally was tackled by Gene Atkins at an 18-yard gain. First down, L.A.
He's a very emotional player, too. You notice that? We talked to him yesterday, and he said that. He said, I love to play the game. I get very emotional and wrapped up in the game. Now, look at this. Big hole, good blocking at the point of attack. Now, watch what happens at the conclusion of this run. Look at this. Look at this now. We'll see him jump. Well, he jumps up and down a little bit. And
couldn't contain his excitement.
Very animated.
Going over 100 yards, 101 yards, and Everett now with a play fake. And the pass to Henry Ellard. He's got it at the 40 of the Saints. And that's all you got to do to get protection is to have the running game go on. No one was anywhere near Everett, and a gain of 22 yards.
And you also have to have, which I keep talking about all the time, look at the pass protection, all the difference in the world, and you got to throw the ball on first down. That was a beautiful throw right between the 8 and the 0.
Ellard coming in as the NFL's leading receiver yardage-wise at 313 yards, adds to that right now as the clock has run down, and that is the end of the third quarter with the score. The Saints 16 and the Rams 6, and our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We start the fourth quarter along with Hank Stram. This is Dick Stockton. The Saints lead 16-6, but the Rams are driving. They have a first down on the 39, and Jerome Bettis, the first Ram to gain over 100 yards since Cleveland Gary did it against the Cowboys in November of 1992, last year. First and 10 at the 39, and Bettis this time will lose a yard. There's a penalty marker down. Turnbull on the stop. So it doesn't take an Einstein to realize that Bettis is going to be the running back that Chuck Knox has going to use, as he has so many other people in his career like Kurt Warner and the rest.
Yes, that's right. And of course, I think you can't give him a steady diet of what the run all the time. You got to mix it up with the pass.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Offside number 97, 5 yards, still first down.
Trinarlo Turnbull a little overzealous, and a 5-yard penalty. But you're right, they got to start to throw on first down.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they have to do. They got, especially, and they got to be careful. They got to buckle up the backside of the formation. That means a split inside to make sure they block that defensive end, because he's coming so hard on the play action passes.
Leaving Gary in the lineup, 1st and 5 on the 34. Good play action fake, and losing the ball and picked up. Wayne Martin had it, and he still does. And the Saints, on the fumble by Everett from behind, it was Ricky Jackson who put the initial pressure on, and on the fumble, the first turnover of the ball game, the Saints get the ball back.
Boy, that's a killer. That's a killer, and a great illustration of what the Saints do in critical situations from a defensive standpoint. They had something going. Here again, play action pass. He's looking for somebody to throw to, which means the coverage is good. He gets hit from the backside by Jackson. The ball bounces around, and finally Martin picks up the ball, and it's Saints 1st and 10.
This is one of the better defenses we've seen in recent years. Steve Sidwell, the coordinator, and the players have tremendous respect for him. 1st and 10 on the 44, a play fake, and the pass is caught by Quinn Early out of bounds on the 36-yard line of the Rams. So the Saints come right back and attack a gain of 19.
Yeah, see, they've been throwing on 1st and 10, play action pass, and I'm going to tell you something, Wade Wilson really threw a beautiful strike that time, right over the shoulder, right down the sideline. It was sensational. Watch this now, play action, gets deep enough. Look at he throws the ball over the top. Look at right where it had to be thrown, right over the defensive linebackers. Pfeiffer was covering on the play, right over his head for the big game.
They're on the 36 of the Rams, 1st down, and here's McAfee going on the outside, spinning off, and McAfee picks up a 1st down for the Saints. A gain of 11 yards, and it looks as if the Saints, with that turnover, the first turnover of the game, forcing the fumble, we'll see if it proves to be the backbreaker for the Rams. Anthony Newman makes the tackle.
Here again, look at Portis pulling on the play to the left side. McAfee does a good job of running through trouble, got hit and made an extra 5 yards after he made contact on the run.
1st and 10 on the 25 of the Rams. And here's the running play to McAfee going to the left side. He slips and will be stopped after a gain of 2 by Robert Bailey. Gain of 2 yards with 13 minutes remaining. Plenty of time left for the Rams, but if the Saints get a touchdown right here, that's going to be a huge margin for the Rams to have to overcome.
And they're doing such a good job of running the football. Talking about the Saints, and McAfee has been injured. He played a little bit a couple of weeks ago. Did some return work last week and did a good job. But he looks like he's back to his old self again, the way he's running the football from scrimmage on this particular drive.
It's the Rams who call a timeout.
This game summary is sponsored by Pizza Hut.
Wade Wilson, 11 for 20 and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He's thrown only 1 all year, as the Saints passing on 1st down, as Hank has pointed out, have a big edge that way. Jerome Bettis, the rookie, 101 yards rushing. And Zendejas with a 50-yard field goal, 9th straight from that range. But the Rams are trailing, and the Saints are driving 2nd and 8 at the 23. Brad Muster is the lone back with 3 wide receivers. And Muster getting the ball with about the 21-yard line, and maybe the second effort to the 20 itself. Gain of 3 yards with 12.5 to play. Boutte and Gilbert, the inside tackles in the 4-man front for the Rams. Made this play.
And they spread them out that time with formations, by formations, with 2 receivers on the right side, 1 on the left, and try to get a crack inside. They got the same situation again this time with a tight end, 3 wide receivers, and 1 back.
Martin and Torrance Small are wide to the right. And Wilson going to the other side. The Quinn Early touchdown, Saints. And a penalty marker now back at the line of scrimmage. Wade Wilson with a perfect throw to Quinn Early, and they may be bringing this one back. Robert Bailey was beaten by Early, and that's going to nullify the touchdown.
Holding. Number 71 on the offense. 10 yards, still 3rd down.
Richard Cooper, the left tackle, was holding to nullify the 6 points.
Boy, you talk about a perfectly executed play. Good pass protection. Good pass protection. Watch on the left side. Watch Cooper, 71. Yeah, he wrestles him to the ground. They call holding on the play. But other than that, boy, you talk about good pass protection, good receiving, good route running, and a great throw by Wade Wilson.
It'll be 3rd down and 15, Hank, where the Saints are only 1 for 8 today on 3rd down attempts. Pressure on Wilson, and he drills it, and it's picked off and caught for the touchdown. Patrick Newman on the deflection grabs the ball for the touchdown. It was off the hands of Anthony Newman, and the Saints get the touchdown anyway. 30-yard play.
They executed that play like they rehearsed it in practice. You talk about being at the right place at the right time, but when you're playing hard and alert and giving everything you got, these are the kind of things that happen. It's not luck, you make it happen.
One Newman to another. Anthony to Patrick on the deflection. And Wade Wilson with his 2nd touchdown pass of the game comes right back after the holding penalty. And it is now 22-6 with Morton Anderson adding the 23rd point. With less than 4 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. And the Saints open up a 23-6 lead.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by your Allstate agent for home, auto, life, and business insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. Hertz, for business, for pleasure. Nobody does it exactly like Hertz. Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars. And by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Here at Anaheim Stadium, Morton Anderson kicking off after the Saints have scored a touchdown. And this kick sails into the end zone for a touchback. So taking advantage of the turnover, the Saints score to lead 23-6.
Here we see the touchdown. Wade Wilson to Newman touchdown. Watch it on the left side of your screen now. Watch Newman jump up for the ball. Look at this. Goes up high, number 26. The ball is tipped. And there is Patrick Newman making the catch. A good alert play. And there's a great illustration of moving without the ball, watching it all the way, and then making the reception for the touchdown.
First down from the 20-yard line. Everett's pass is complete to Travis McNeil, the tight end. Will Vaughn Johnson on the stop, a gain of 9, and the Rams in a more hurry-up offense now. They've got plenty of time, but they've fallen way behind. And manages 2 field goals today against this vaunted New Orleans defense. Here's Everett again, and the pass is picked off, intended for Lofton, and it is intercepted by Reginald Jones. So another turnover. First the fumble, now the interception, and the Saints are in business again. And they're very close to being in position of winning their 7th in a row here at the Big A. 2 quick turnovers, and we'll see if the Saints capitalize on another one.
All right, here we see the interception by Jones on the right sideline. He throws the ball outside, and he gets a good look at that. The ball's thrown, looks like it was thrown perfectly, but he gets a good jump on the ball, makes the interception. And I remember several months ago listening to Jim Mora, and he indicated, in his opinion, Jones was the best covered guy that they had. But he wasn't in camp at that time. He came in late, and as a result, that's why he didn't play anymore in the year.
6th career interception for Jones. Here is Wade Wilson under pressure. Completes it to the tight end, Hobie Brenner. And it takes about 4 Rams to knock him away. Well, the Saints are playing the kind of style that has gotten them through the regular season the last many years. There's Mike Pagel throwing and warming up on the sidelines. We'll see whether Chuck Knox makes a move or not in the next series. We have 11 minutes to go in this 4th quarter.
Well, you know, we go right back again. You win with talent. You win with the great job of coaching that with Jim Moore and the staff have done. But they're consistent in every area. The kicking, as I mentioned earlier in the game, the kicking, the running, the passing, the pass rush, everything. And that's you can't win it all unless you have it all. And they're closer to having it all now than they've ever had in the past.
McAfee gets a couple of yards with Woods on the stop. And Hank, it's so true. The Saints today have not turned the ball over. They have not allowed a sack. It's a mistake-free. Sure, they've committed a few penalties and one holding call, and they end up scoring the touchdown. But they play solid ball, and people are seeing that they not only do it in the dome, but they do it away from home.
Well, it's an ABC team. That's how simple it is, you know, and that's the way you got to play. You know, it's a very simple game. It's a game of coaching is 3 things: accumulating talent, assessing the talent, and making the talent win. And they do a great job of enforcing the basic principles of how you're going to win the game. And I think it's a great tribute to Jim Finks for putting this whole thing together, a guy who was able to make decisions and get a great array of talent here so they can lose people, get people hurt. They're never at a loss. They always get somebody from the roster. He comes in and plays just like nothing had ever happened. So that's what it's all about. And I think it's a great tribute to Jim and to Mr. Benson and Bill Koharic and Jim Moore, the whole situation, for doing a great job.
I would second that emotion. Hobie Brenner is injured. So the starting tight end is shaken up. Hobie Brenner, who played his college ball at USC. Let's go to Greg Gumbel now for an NFL Today update. Greg?
All right, Dick, at San Francisco, Minnesota's Jim McMahon, 9-yard touchdown pass to Chris Carter. 24-19, the 49er lead now over the Vikings. Meanwhile, the Giants' pennant hopes dwindling at Dodger Stadium. 7-1 Los Angeles in the 7th. Dick?
All right, Greg, back here at Anaheim Stadium, and concern for Jim Mora. He's got the 23-6 lead, but Hobie Brenner, a very big part of the blocking up front for the New Orleans Saints that allows them to run as well as they do. The backup tight end, he has 2 others, is Irv Smith, the #1 draft pick out of Notre Dame, and then Frank Wainwright, who's the long snapper.
Let's take a look, and we might get a picture of how he got hurt. Over on the right side. There you see him blocking on the right side, number 85. And it looked like the right leg caved in on the right side, and then he fell. And of course, it's hard to speculate as to what really took place or what happened. Hopefully nothing serious. And it's a good sign that he can get up, but he's hobbling a little bit. Looks like his right leg. It might be an ankle. Maybe a sprain. Hopefully it's just a sprain. Nothing more than that.
He is not underrated when you talk to players around the league, but Hobie Brenner's been around a long time. He's played under Bum Phillips. He's caught 3 passes today for 28 yards, but as we said, his big strength is as a blocker, and he'll go out of the game, and Irv Smith, the rookie from Notre Dame, will replace him.
And Irv Smith is going to be a terrific tight end as he gets a chance to play and develop his skills and ability. He's going to be a big help to this Saints team.
3rd down and 2 at the 24-yard line for the Saints, trying to capitalize on a 2nd straight turnover by the LA Rams. And they give it to McAfee, and he gets a couple. It'll be 4th down now. And Thomas Homko making the tackle. In the exciting Philadelphia Jet game, the Jets now lead 30-28 after the Eagles had tied up the Jets at 28 apiece. A safety, an intentional grounding by Bubby Brister with 11:46 to go, caused by Marvin Washington, enabled the Jets to, the Eagles to take the lead.
Look at Seattle, 24-7. Are they getting better every week or what? Tom Flores doing a terrific job, and Tom Catlin, who handles the defense, really doing a terrific job with that young Seattle Seahawks team.
Here is Morton Anderson with a 41-yard field goal attempt, and this kick is no good. Morton But it could be a case of after the barn door is closed as far as the Rams go, as Anderson misses after making 3 field goals, and the score remains 23-6. I want to make a correction here. It's the Jets who have taken the lead over the Eagles 30-28 on the safety.
Morton Anderson is talking about something with his left, trying to motion with his left hand, evidently saying that it just went left, that's all.
It happens. Mike Pagel has come in at quarterback for the Rams in relief of Jim Everett. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Pagel with a slant pass intended for Clipper Anderson. Incomplete. That pass was high, was well covered by Gene Atkins. Everett on the day completed 10 of 25 for 126 yards and threw 1 interception.
That's right. And of course, if if he doesn't beat you, they're not going to win the game. Talking about the Rams, we talked about that earlier in the game, and that's exactly what happened. But here again, it's not so much the quarterback, it's the rush that he got throughout the game. You have to give an awful lot of credit to the New Orleans Saints defense for making Everett have that kind of an afternoon.
And when you want to say, let's get the other guy in there, they're getting a look to see what it's like having the other guy, as Pagel missed times on another attempt to Travis McNeil, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, you see, he's sitting on the bench watching the game and thinking, if I get in there, this is what I'm going to do. I know one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of the ball quick. Get rid of the ball quickly, and he goes into the game because of the rush, and he does get rid of it quickly, but it's not complete.
Not going anywhere.
That's right.
They're going to x-ray Hobie Brenner's ankle. We hope the Saints tight end is all right. Here's the out of the shotgun, and the pass incomplete downfield. It was intended for James Lofton. Reginald Jones, who has the Saints interception today, defended. That'll bring up 4th down, and McJulian will come in to kick it away.
The great thing about what's happened with the Saints team, the linebackers have been good, the line has been good, the secondary in the past has been somewhat questionable. Now I think this is the best array of defensive backs they've had, and this kind of completes the puzzle as far as the overall balance is concerned of this football team.
There's McJulian's kick, and Tyrone Hughes going back. Good kick by McJulian that time. And a good return by Hughes, and he has one man to beat and may beat everybody. McJulian the last man, and he's going to go in. No flags, touchdown. Tyrone Hughes on a punt return of 74 yards.
And we're going to get a chance to see that again. Boy, what a great move he made going up the field. It's just a great illustration of instinctive running, native ability and skill, running with his eyes open and his head up, being able to make decisive moves on the return.
He came into the game as the 3rd leading punt returner in the NFC, and I don't think he has affected his status too much with that 74-yard return for a touchdown.
He makes a couple of great moves at a very critical time on the return without any hesitation, without any dancing. He just makes the moves, and it's going right up the field.
And Anderson's kick is good, and it's now 30-6 in favor of New Orleans. So the Saints are getting some dividends from a couple of rookies from Nebraska this year. Derek Brown, the running back, and Tyrone Hughes.
We'll see. Here he is, catching the ball high right at the numbers. Now look at this. He makes a move there, comes through here. Now look at the move he makes here. And he squirts through the hole and outruns everybody for the touchdown. But there's never any indecision whatsoever on the run.
Well, this, you mentioned earlier, Chuck Knox said it, you said it, that right now at this stage of the season in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints are the best team in the league and did nothing to deter anyone from changing their opinion today. And
you like the way they're playing. They're playing with a lot of enthusiasm. They're playing hard, they're playing smart, and those are the basic fundamental things that are so necessary. If you play that way, good things are going to happen to you. And it's a great compliment to Jim Mora and his coaching staff, all of whom have done a terrific job, and they're all very outstanding teachers. going around the league, invariably we hear people talking about the Saints team, their coaching staff, and the organization.
There you see how they rank around the league in the various categories, including defense, which is really the name of the game, and they've shown it again today. 3 quarterback sacks. Turnbull picked up another one, his 8th of the year.
And that's what makes the difference.
The last time that the Saints returned a punt for a score was September 10th, 4 years ago. Derek Shepard, 56 yards against the Dallas Cowboys, and now Tyrone Hughes with an impressive return. Steve Israel and Howard Griffith are back deep as Anderson gets into the end zone, and it's returned by Israel, and he won't get to the 15-yard line. So the special teams coverage sparked by Marcus Dowdell. So Mike Pagel will go out again for the Rams. Jim Everett, when the running game was going and he had time to throw, he was on the mark. But against the Saints defense, you're not going to find many quarterbacks who are going to have success throughout the game. You're looking at a Saints defense which, for all intents and purposes, short-circuited the 49ers' haunted offense last week.
The other thing about New Orleans, right now they have 10 takeaways, plus 10 in that category. And you know, Dick, if you have 11 turnover takeaways plus 11, that means you are played equivalent to one more extra game. If you get 15 or 18, then it's equivalent to a game and a half. That's how important the takeaways are.
Boy, it really adds up to wins. Out of the backfield to Cleveland Gary after Ellard caught the pass. And he's got the first down. Gain of 12 yards. 8 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. 30-6 the Saints lead. And it should be pointed out that the Rams are not losing this game today. The New Orleans Saints are winning the game. They're playing the same way that they have played in the first 4 games. They did it again today.
That's right. And of course, you talked to Jim before a game and asked him what they have to do to win. He repeats the same litany of things every week.
Here's an interception thrown by Pagel. And it's Vince Buck still on his feet. So when the turnovers have come, they have come in waves for the New Orleans Saints, all in the fourth quarter. And the Saints are knocking on the door for yet another score. And that is the first interception of the year for Vince Buck. All 4 of the starting secondary have picked one off this season.
All right, here's Pagel now going back. The pocket's caving in. He still is able to stay in the pocket, delivers the ball. He knew as soon as he threw it, he starts running to the right side in case he had to make the tackle. He's a safety man now. Look at him. But he knew as soon as he threw it was trouble. And Buck takes it right down to about the 10-yard line.
So the Rams have turned the ball over 3 times in their last 4 possessions. And a first down for the Saints on the 12-yard line of Los Angeles. Just under 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. McAfee, and they'll blow that play dead. They'll have a false start or an illegal procedure call against the Saints.
False start before the snap. Number 72 on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
In the Philadelphia Jet game, the Eagles have taken a 35-30 lead as Eric Allen has returned an interception, 94 yards for a touchdown. What a battle royal they're having at Giant Stadium, and the Eagles and Jets going back and forth, Henry.
Yes, and it's like a tennis match, plus the fact that, Kotite has really done, Richie Kotite has really done a terrific job with that football team. Nobody expected them to come close to what they've done so far.
First down and 15. The ball back to the 17, and a loose ball, and it's up for grabs, and it's picked up by Fred Stokes. Fred Stokes may get caught, though.
Better call the fire department after that run.
Herb Smith, the tight end, who's pretty big in his own right, caught up to Fred Stokes after Stokes rambled 50 yards with the fumble to bring the ball into Saints territory. That'll give the fans that are left a little something to get excited about. And the Rams, too.
He picked it up like he was a shortstop, too, without a glove. Okay, here we go again. blitz on the play. With Collin blitzing on the play, look at this. He scoops it up. Pretty good timing on the pickup. A good block there. Can't tell who that was, but they finally overtake him. It was a good play by Stokes.
That's only the 4th giveaway by the New Orleans Saints this year. You were talking about how they are in the takeaway giveaway department. First down on the 18. Pagel's pass is caught by Travis McNeil and a gain of 4 yards.
Saints look like they're playing with about 13 defensive people. They're all over the place.
Yes, they do.
Don't they really?
That's a great description, Hank. Because
I keep counting them. I keep counting. They got to play 13. They got to have 13 guys out there. You know.
We had the Lions game, and it looked like they had 12 guys on Barry Sanders alone. When
That's right. Exactly right. See, and a lot of people would be critical of this Ram team. You can't be critical of them. You got to give credit where credit is due. You have to give it to the Saints.
Bettis is upended by Carl Dunbar after a gain of 2. By the way, that was for Fred Stokes, who played with the Rams before going on to the Redskins and then coming back. His 11th fumble recovery of his outstanding career. And Stokes, of course, is the veteran amongst the 3 other youngsters in an improved defensive rush line for the Rams. But it's Saints today, 30-6, as we wind down to 6.5 minutes to go. 3rd down and 5 for Mike Pagel. Pressure, and the pass incomplete, intended for Lofton. Jimmy Spencer was defending on the play, and a penalty marker down. It looked, from my novice view, that it was a holding call against the Rams to keep Ricky Jackson, I believe, or one of those linebackers, off of Pagel.
You know, one thing that's very important to notice also, Robert Young, who came into the game with 7 sacks.
Holding, number 34 on the offense, 10 yards, still 3rd down.
Gilbert came in with 6, Stokes came in with 3, but we haven't had occasion to talk about them very, very much at all this afternoon, and I think there again, it's a great tribute to the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints, because those are good football players, and they've done a good job coming into this game, but they control that situation extremely well.
That's, by the way, the first penalty marked off against the Rams today. It'll be 3rd down and 15 on the 23-yard line. Pagel with a lot of time, and he drills it. It's tipped, and would have been picked off, except 2 Saints seem to collide. Vince Buck and Spencer. Nope. It was Reginald Jones and Vince Buck colliding, but originally the pass was tipped by Vaughn Johnson. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Had a nice visit with Vaughn yesterday. He's a delightful guy, isn't he? Is he upbeat, confident, poised?
How about his voice? He's got the deepest voice. He ought to host a jazz show on radio or do anything else he wants. He has the best voice I've heard since James Earl Jones.
Yeah, that's right. I think he does that in the locker room.
He comes in, how are you guys today? Shook the whole room. 4th and 15, Pagel's toss. And he wanted to go to Lester, and the Saints will take over on downs. It was Joel Smengi, another one of those reserves for the Saints who have great promise, putting the pressure on Mike Pagel. So the Saints will take over. For those people who are wondering whether Jim Everett had a bad game today, I would say the answer is no. He went up against one of the best defenses in the league and a team that played a great defense, and a lot of times he didn't have a lot of time. He wasn't smooth totally, but you'd have to say one of the last people you would blame for a loss like this would be Jim Everett.
No, I think the normal tendency is to blame the quarterback, but you have to realize who they're playing against and what kind of a job the opposition did, and you have to give all the credit in the world again to the New Orleans Saints.
1st and 10 on the 22-yard line. McAfee is the running back, and Wade Wilson continues in at quarterback. Eric Martin is in motion here as McAfee. And he goes off the left side for about 5 yards. Very often people view a game and they say, what did the Rams do wrong. Basically today, it's what the Saints did right. They played like the team that has the best record in the NFL will be 5-0 after this game.
Well, the other thing about it is it's very difficult to read how a team's going to play. You know, talking to all the coaches of the Rams, they all unanimously said, one thing for sure, we're going to play hard, we're going to play good, we're going to play much better than we played in the past, even last week. But even with the big win last week, it didn't help any at all if you don't have the players.
Muster gets a couple of yards. Boutte, don't forget, this is a team that beat the San Francisco 49ers last week. Gain of 1 yard. 5:15 to go. That's the latest on the Eagles-Jets game. What about Tampa Bay today? Finally got into the win column, beating the Lions.
And the way they played last week, you never thought they could win an inter-squad game, let alone a game next week. And they won the game, which is great for Sam White and the Hugh Culverhouse and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Denver rolling over Indianapolis. It'll be 3rd down and 4 here at the 29-yard line. Most of the crowd has gone into the late afternoon California sunshine. And this pass is complete as Wade Wilson went down. It's caught by Quinn Early for 6 yards.
I tell you one thing, I'd get the hook for Wade Wilson. I'd get him out of there and get somebody else in there, play quarterback with just 5 minutes left in this contest. I wouldn't want to take a chance of getting him dinged.
One of the big factors for the Saints, Bobby Hebert, you remember, coming into this game, rated the #1 passer in the NFC, but you talk to a lot of the people, they'll say Wade Wilson's temperament has had a lot to do with the good offense by the Saints thus far.
Well, I think that's true to a point, but I think, you know, the other thing you got to consider strongly is the fact that they got a running game like they haven't had the last few years, and that makes a tremendous amount of difference.
There's Brad Muster. And I would say, looking at the other side of the coin, Hank, that if you look at the Rams and in an even game, having Jerome Bettis, if he can develop as the runner he showed today, then that will open up a lot of things for the Rams.
Well, that'll make them a lot better, and of course make their quarterback throw the ball better, the pass protection better, and everything. You just can't be a one-dimensional team. Maybe you can for a game or two, but over the long haul of 16 games, that's the great thing about the Saints again. You know, they've got the balance that they haven't had in the past. They've had terrific defense, had great kicking, but they didn't have what they wanted offensively. Now they got that too, and they're in business.
2nd down and 7. McAfee going to the left and stops the clock with 3:21 remaining. Robert Bailey defending. Well, friends, we want to remind you that this game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS and the National Football League is prohibited. As you can see, smattering of fans after fell short of 21,000 lifting the blackout. Didn't come close. The catch is made by Torrance Small. Made a fine play, beating Darrell Henley to the ball. That'll be a 1st down for New Orleans. 13-yard gain. They're playing right now, Hank, as if the score were tied.
Well, that's a great thing. You see, they got to keep playing hard, and of course they have enough competition on the team and enough balance on the team and enough reserve help on the team that everybody's trying to make an impression when they get the opportunity to play. Small, they like him very much, and they think he's going to add a great deal to this football team in time.
1st down on the 45-yard line of the Rams. And there's a bootleg, and Wade Wilson gets inside the 40-yard line and picks up about 7 yards on that foray. Darrell Henley on the tackle. Wade Wilson, who started the game with a touchdown pass on the first series to Derek Brown, made a circus catch and ran 15 for the score.
Well, it might be they get the hook now. I don't know. I just don't understand why he's still in the game. He shouldn't be.
And he's gone to the sidelines. And the 2-minute warning here at Anaheim Stadium, with the Saints having salted this one away. Well, tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. There's no doubt about what's in Fidel Castro's health plan. Get AIDS in Cuba and you're shipped off to a sanatorium. Some call it a prison. Does it work? Well, watch 60 Minutes tonight. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then it's the CBS Sunday movie River of Rage, the taking of Maggie Keene, new thriller where the deadly terror comes in waves. That's all tonight on CBS. Like the Saints defense, here is Brad Mustard getting close to first down yardage. It was Roman Pfeiffer on the tackle. As we have under 2 minutes to play, the Saints, who in the past have been strong defensively, but up and down on the offensive side, have now scored 30 or more points in 3 of their 5 games this season, Hank, and that's a great start to the
Well,
season.
it really is, and that's exactly what they went into the season with, the anticipation of getting done, especially the running game. I thought Wilson took 2 and hit to right, but he's back in the game again.
He's in there. He didn't take anything. Derek Ned is the fullback, though, and he's going to get the call. Good cutting game by Derek Ned. Derek Ned to the 15, the 10, the 5, and he's going to score. Boy, that's got to be one of the most spectacular running plays we've seen all year. 35 yards. Derek Ned from Grambling State, who played his first game against the Lions a few weeks ago.
Yes, and he started the game and did very impressively in that game. In fact, we mentioned to Jim Moore the other day how impressed we were with him, and he said, well, he said we hadn't seen much of him either, but we were very, very pleased the way he plays. And now he comes in the first time he gets the ball, he negotiates the ball down the field for a touchdown.
First touchdown of his professional career. If you want to talk about depth on this club, I don't know what NFL club has more depth right now on both sides of the ball than the New Orleans Saints.
Well, people have been saying, they don't really have the big league talent and all that kind of stuff, which is ridiculous. The fact that you can make a trade with Swilling and get the turn ball and hit play like he is playing, and you got Chris Port came through the ranks, Cooper's come through the rank. All those things don't happen by accident. They can happen with good people. Now here we go. See, and the play was designed to go off tackle to the right side. He shifted gears. He did that because he was about 7 yards deep, could take advantage of the over-pursuing defense, makes a good cut. He smells the goal line, and he goes right in there for the touchdown. A great run by Ned. Terrific.
And Ned took the ball with him as a memento. After he spiked it, he took it back. There he is, Derek Ned of Grambling State. If time permits, we may send you to Giant Stadium, where the Eagles and the Jets are battling with 4:21 to go, and it's 35-30 in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. We have 1:10 here. The Saints lead the Rams 37-6 in a fantastic display of a team that didn't let up once the game was decided. They kept driving for more. Wade Wilson remained in the game. Derek Brown rushed for 56 yards. He caught 2 passes, including 1 for a touchdown. Wade Wilson has thrown for over 200 yards, including 2 touchdown passes today. He has, on the year, Wade Wilson has 7 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. There's Derek Brown. Tyrone Hughes with a 74-yard punt return for a score. So the Nebraska rookies have it all crimson and cream today. And the Giants going down to defeat the Dodgers, leading 10-1. And the Atlanta Braves are going to win the National League West on the last day of the regular season. This kick taken by Israel at the goal line. And Spencer wrestles him out of bounds. 23-yard. Here it is.
All right, look at Derek Ned. This is a big league spike. Big league spike. Watch this. Look at it. He almost pulled a muscle, bringing that left leg up. Look like a pitcher throwing a ball to the plate. Great job. It looks like he's done that before.
I remember what Paul Brown used to say when people act like you've been here before. And I think for Derek Ned's, any kind of happiness and elation he has, and he hasn't stopped smiling yet, has he?
No, he's still laughing.
First NFL touchdown for Derek Ned. We have 1:04 remaining. Rams have the ball first down. And the give is to Russell White, carrying the ball. He's been mostly a third down back, and he brings it out to the 32-yard line. Both teams have byes next week. Then the Saints will travel to Pittsburgh. Then they have Atlanta and at Phoenix. And if you look at that schedule, the Saints will not be overly tested, I would think, in the next several weeks.
No, and it's great to have a break after you've won 5 games in a row. You know, it's a great feeling. You enjoy the rest very, very much, and you know how important it is when you go back to work to get back to work and continue where you left off.
2nd down and 5. The give is to White, rookie from the University of California, and that may be the last play of the game. What a tremendous display, and at the outset we asked, can the Saints avoid a letdown? I think they answered that question decisively today, Hank.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And, of course, I think that's what the good teams do. You win like they've been winning. It's no accident. They have a good execution. They've got good temperament. They've got good morale. They've got good family, good chemistry. All those things are very important. And you're not going to have a letdown when you win it like they're winning right now.
So Wade Wilson again doing a great job at quarterback. And the Saints have beaten the Rams for the 7th straight time overall, and the 7th consecutive time here at Anaheim Stadium. They go 5-0 with the best record in the NFL, and one of the spectacular plays today was the brilliant 74-yard punt return by Tyrone Hughes.
He makes a great move right on the inside right there, sees daylight, cuts back again, makes another would-be tackler miss. Another gets a shot at his heel, but he maintains his balance. Goes all the way in for the touchdown.
2 touchdown passes by Wade Wilson. Derek Ned with his first NFL score. 3 field goals by Morton Anderson. So the 5-0 New Orleans Saints. And for the Rams, they will now go 2-3. They've been a Jekyll Hyde team, but this was a very tough game for them to play, even after their high over the Oilers last week, to come in and play the Saints. Right now, the Saints have given no indication they're anything but the best team in the league right now.
But the nice thing about it is, here's this spike again. You get a look at delayed action. Now look at that left leg go up. Way up there. Look at the ball's right down by his right foot. Trying to check the pressure of the ball. Held up pretty good on that slam.
Well, the ball hung in there, and so did the Saints. It was 13-3 at the half, 16-6 after 3 quarters, and they broke it open. And that's the story here from Anaheim Stadium. New Orleans remains undefeated for only the 2nd time. They are 5-0 to start the year. So for Hank Stram, Dick Stockton saying so long from Anaheim Stadium. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. So long, everybody.